In this video, we are going to explore Barcelona from the perspective of Happy to Wonder. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right into all these different things.
There's a lot more to Barcelona than just the beach. And in today's video, I'll be sharing an honest roundup of the best things to do in Barcelona.
Honest is always the way to go.
And tourist traps endured. In case you're new here, hi, I'm Christina from happytowander.com. And this channel is all about practical travel advice from someone who's been there, done that. So be sure to like and subscribe if that sounds like your kind of thing. And be sure to stick around until the end for a free map that has everything from this video pinned for your convenience. Now let's move on to the first Barcelona must-do, which is to drool over all the amazing modernist architecture. There are few cities in the world that look like Barcelona. With its mix of Gothic and modern architecture right by the beach.
They look like little bagels.
Its unique grid layout in the Eixample neighborhood. Plus its assortment of whimsical and unique buildings in the style of Catalan modernism. So when in town, make sure you take the time to admire these stunning works. Though be sure to secure your tickets well in advance if you want to see their interiors because they do sell out quickly. We'll start with the most famous example of this architectural style in Barcelona. The jaw-dropping Sagrada Familia, a creation by modernist icon Antoni Gaudí that has been in the works for over 140 years and is still not complete. With 3 intricate facades and 18 towers, there's truly no church like it in the world, with distinctive elements including a lack of right angles anywhere in the design and very few straight lines.
You know, same thing here. I was wondering, they got these cranes. They're literally like on top of the building. I'm thinking to myself, how are they getting these things up here? Or how are they making these buildings so tall? But like legit, they bring the cranes like up on top of the building. And it's just mind blowing to me how they can do these types of feats.
Gaudí's many impressive and expensive works in Barcelona, this is the one I find most worth visiting on the inside. Even though it is unfinished, I consider it one of the most spectacular churches in the world, with intricate details inspired by both religion and the natural world, combining to create a maximalist and colorful church unlike any you've seen before.
Wow.
Another key attraction by Gaudí is Park Güell. This whimsical park perched on Carmel Hill offers not just wonderful views over the city, but some of the most imaginative and colorful spaces in Barcelona. Walking into Park Güell is like stepping into the fanciful imagination of Gaudí himself, with colored glass, unique ceramic work, and nature-inspired elements all effortlessly woven with the park's natural surroundings.
Little iguana lizard thing.
There's also Casa Vicens. This was kind of Gaudí's first big job after graduating, and while for over 130 years this mansion was private property, it is now a museum that you can visit. While I admit it's not that spectacular on the inside apart from a few rooms, it's still well worth a look if you're in search of something a little different, even just for the facade, which is one of my personal favorites in the city.
This is another reason why I like doing all these different videos, because you can see the same buildings, the same, town and whatnot, but everybody has their own perspective on what it looked like, the things that they that stood out to them. It's just everybody has a different perspective, and I think that's what brings out a lot of the different materials within each, scene, for example.
And on the elegant Passeig de Gràcia, you'll find 2 more iconic Gaudí buildings, La Pedrera, whose unique stone design resembles an open quarry, and Casa Batlló, with its colorful mosaic facade, mask-shaped balconies, and scaly roof set to resemble the back of a dragon. Both of these houses are well worth seeing, at least from the outside, though going inside is both expensive and unbelievably crowded.
It looks like a movie.
I wouldn't necessarily recommend it unless you're a huge fan of architecture. Of course, while Gaudí is the most famous name linked to Catalan modernism, he is far from the only notable architect whose work you can admire in Barcelona. The block occupied by Casa Batlló, for instance, is known as the Manzana de la Discordia, or Block of Discord, thanks to the presence of 3 modernist facades by 3 different architects, all fighting for our attention. Gaudí's Casa Batlló is of course the most crowded and popular, but right next door is the Casa Amatller by Josep Puig i Cadafar, and down the block also Casa Lleó Morera by Luis Domènech i Montaner. I did Casa Batlló and Casa Amatller back to back, And let me tell you, the difference was astounding. I practically had a private tour at Casa Amatler, which was gorgeous on the inside, and I can definitely recommend paying them a visit.
Oh, like
Speaking
pretzel
of
rods.
he is responsible for two of my other favorite modernist structures in Barcelona. Firstly, the Palau de la Música Catalana, one of the most stunning concert halls I've ever seen, with a richly decorated interior filled with stained glass and striking natural motifs all around.
Imagine seeing a
And
Hans
the
Zimmer
Hospital de la Santa Creu
concert in
Central,
there.
located a short walk away from the Sagrada Familia. This vast complex is actually considered the largest modernist complex in the world, and operated as a functional hospital until 2009.
Is nobody gonna say anything about the orange tree right there? Got a bunch of oranges on there just ready to be picked and just slurp down the juice.
Before being converted into a museum and cultural center today. Filled with bold colors, vibrant mosaics, and plenty of stained glass, this is one of the most beautiful places to visit in the city, with plenty of space to roam around, making it feel much less crowded than its more famous counterparts. Now, with architecture out of the way, let's move on to the next must-do in Barcelona, which is to dive into the city's epic food culture.
Uh-oh, here we go.
With over 8,000 restaurants to choose from in the city, visitors are really spoiled for choice when they visit Barcelona, which of course makes decisions ever more difficult. For a more guided experience, I can definitely recommend taking a food tour, something I did on my first Barcelona trip. Having local expertise really helped me get my bearings and cut out the guesswork of where to eat.
Right, finding all the good
You can also soak in
stuff.
the city's foodie culture by visiting one of its many fresh food markets. La Boqueria is no doubt the most popular, filled with all sorts of colorful produce stalls, as well as many bars to sit and grab food.
I do remember this
Thanks
one.
to its popularity among tourists, however, prices here are known to be inflated, but it's definitely worth taking a look. There are also more local-oriented markets worth checking out too, like the beautiful Santa Caterina Market, with its vibrant wavy rooftop, as well as the Sant Antony Market, which also has a book market on Sundays. And while
book market?
Barcelona is a cosmopolitan city with options representing cuisines from around the world, when in town, do try your best to indulge in Catalan cuisine as much as possible. While most tourist-oriented restaurants will try to sell you on paella and sangria, Catalonia has many more traditional dishes to offer, including the ubiquitous pam tomàquet, fideo, which is like a local twist on paella except with short noodles instead of rice, and bombas, a fried potato croquette that's stuffed with a tasty meat filling, then topped with sauce, an invention of the Barceloneta neighborhood. Most typical of all, though, might be to partake in el vermut, a pre-meal ritual that usually involves having a drink with some bar snacks like olives and jamon while mixing and mingling. Kind of like a local take on the Italian aperitivo. There are many bars that offer this experience, so don't miss it.
You know, when they were showing the pasta, it made me think, it looked very similar to like an Italian dish. So I'm wondering if there's like a correlation between like Italy and Spain, like those, I guess it's the Catalan dish. I wonder if they like kind of taste the same or if it's like a big drastic difference.
Now, if you don't mind paying a little extra for a gorgeous venue to drink and enjoy a bite, I'd recommend visiting El Nacional, which is home to several restaurants and bars housed in an extravagant light-filled hall.
The ambiance
We sat
there.
at one of the bars in the middle and enjoyed some tasty snacks while people watching. Overall, Barcelona is full of great eats, so be sure to do your research,
Right there,
read reviews,
those
and
ones.
take advantage. Just be sure to steer clear of restaurants with lots of pictures and menus in various languages, especially if they're located in busy locations like Las Ramblas or near the beach, as these are more often than not tourist traps that serve mediocre food.
Tourist
Next on our
traps.
list is a wander around the Gothic Quarter.
Okay.
This postcard-perfect piece of Barcelona is where many say the city's history began, when Romans first established a settlement here thousands of years ago. Today, the neighborhood is known for its network of narrow, winding streets that link a variety of squares and monuments, the most famous of which is the beautiful Barcelona Cathedral, which costs a few euro for entry, but is open for free during set worship and prayer times each day. The inside is well worth seeing, with a dramatic Gothic interior, as well as a nice rooftop that you can visit for amazing views of the city. Elsewhere in this neighborhood, there's also the lively Plaza Real, filled with palm trees and arched galleries crammed with restaurants and bars. Granted, the prices here are a bit inflated, but they're still quite a nice vibe. Another popular spot is Carrer del Bisbe, where you'll find the most photographed bridge in the city. And while the Gothic quarter is notoriously crowded with tourists most of the time, there are still some cool hidden gems scattered around, including some Roman artifacts and landmarks, like the Temple of Augustus, where you'll see tall Roman columns dating back to the 1st century BC. Overall, this is a beautiful piece of Barcelona to explore. But if you can, I'd recommend visiting early in the morning before it gets too crowded. While here, you can continue your explorations with a visit to El Born and La Ribera. Located close to the beach and overflowing with cafes and restaurants, walking around these conjoined neighborhoods is another fun Barcelona activity I can highly recommend. Highlights include the Basilica of Santa Maria del Mar, a beautiful Gothic church, outside of which you'll find the Fossar de les Moreres, a plaza with an eternal flame memorializing the Catalan soldiers fallen during the War of the Spanish Succession, as well as the El Born Cultural Center, where you can scope out some really cool archaeological ruins.
Oh my goodness.
There's also several museums here, including the Picasso Museum and MoCo Museum, dedicated to modern art, in addition to some of the spots I actually mentioned before, like the Santa Catarina Market, plus plenty of cool shops and boutiques. Now, once you get tired of roaming narrow streets, another must-do in Barcelona is to relax in the Parc de la Ciutadella. This tranquil green oasis in the city is home to a few notable must-sees, including the stunning Cascada Monumental, designed with the help of a young Gaudí, as well as its ornate entryway, Barcelona's own Arc de Triomphe. Inside the park, you'll find lots of spots for picnicking, relaxing, or even renting a boat.
I would want to do
that. Put this on your list
Rent the
for
boat.
A more relaxed activity. Another relaxed activity to enjoy is to get an amazing view over the city. Barcelona is a truly epic city with no shortage of views. For the
What's
best
that tall
free one,
building
though,
back there?
I can recommend visiting the Bunkers del Carmel, which offers a 360-degree view over Barcelona, including iconic parts of the skyline like the Sagrada Familia, as well as the beach. There's of course also many paid views as well, including atop the famous Columbus Monument and the lookout from the Torre Glorias.
Oh,
Perhaps
looks like a
most
little
fun of all, though, is to simply relax and chill at a rooftop bar, of which Barcelona has too many to count. Better yet, book a hotel with a terrace and just relax. Speaking of amazing views, another Barcelona must-do is to explore Montjuïc. This hill is packed with attractions and makes for a great half-day outing during your stay in the city. Getting there through the famous Montjuïc cable car takes you on a 750-meter journey suspended above Barcelona. And once you get to the top and work your way down, there is so much you can do, like visit a 17th century castle and fortress.
That's like a star fort.
Amazing views.
Almost.
Visit unique museums like the National Art Museum of Catalonia, the Fundació Joan Miró, and the Poble Espanyol.
That area looks nice.
Or explore a range of cool green spaces, like
There's
the
a stadium back
Gardens and the Anea Olímpica, the park specially built for the 1992 Olympics.
Ooh.
Another highlight here are the magic Montjuïc fountains. Constructed during the 1929 Barcelona International Exposition, these fountains are now one of the best-known attractions in the city, with a dazzling light, music, and water show that wows millions of visitors each year. From here, you can also scope out the impressive Venetian towers in Plaza de España, which are modeled after the Campanile of St. Mark's Basilica in Venice. Now, moving on to another hill offering
There's
plenty
that roller
of fun in
coaster. I forgot
Barcelona,
about that.
we have Tibidabo. At 512 meters, this is Barcelona's tallest hill, and is home to Spain's oldest amusement park, with many of its original rides, for better or worse, still intact. A highlight here besides the rides is the Sacred Heart of Jesus Church of Atonement, a beautiful church with a lengthy name, topped with a monumental statue of Jesus that you can see up close through an elevator
Oh, you can
ride.
get some good views up there too.
Now, heading back to sea level now, another fun Barcelona activity is to hit the beach.
Vamos
For
a la
a lot
playa.
of eager vacationers, time in Barcelona is synonymous with tanning time, with the most popular pick being Barceloneta Beach. As most locals will tell you, however, this is far from the best beach, with a lot of litter, crowds, and guys selling watered-down mojitos and beach towels. I wouldn't necessarily plan to spend a day here tanning and swimming, but I do admit it's a nice spot for sunset. That said, I think a nicer activity might be to take a sunset boat cruise. I did this on my most recent trip and really enjoyed it.
I
While
wonder
you
if
don't
there's
go
any boats that you could take out there and like eat on and stuff, like have like a dinner and stuff. But what the heck kind of boat is that? That thing is huge out there. That
far,
looks
you
like a
do get to
carrier
enjoy
one.
a range of sights, from mega yachts along the Marina Portel
Jeez.
to Barceloneta beach landmarks and wide open sea. All with bottomless cava and snacks along the way if you so choose.
Yeah, I figured.
Book a ride for sunset time and you definitely won't regret it. Now, at this point, you might be thinking, what about Las Ramblas? While it's commonly listed in every guide as one of the best things to do in Barcelona, I don't necessarily agree. Known as the city's main pedestrian promenade, Las Ramblas is a 1.2 kilometer stretch that extends from Port Vell to Plaça de Catalunya. Along the way, you'll mostly encounter street performers, tourist trap restaurants, and crowds. Lots and lots of crowds.
Overpopulated.
Honestly, I wouldn't recommend spending much time here on this strip since it's crowded and riddled with a lot of opportunistic criminals like pickpockets and street scammers. But there are some noteworthy sites in and around here, including La Boqueria Market, as mentioned before, and some unique pieces of architecture. I would maybe just walk down once to say you've done it, but otherwise avoid it throughout your trip.
There was one building on one of the beach scenes, and it looked pretty huge and like all glass. I wonder what that is, or maybe she spoke about it, but I don't really remember.
I have similar sentiments about Plaça de Catalunya, which is Barcelona's main square and often touted as a Barcelona must-see. In my opinion, it's just okay. And while you'll probably pass through it thanks to its central location, it's definitely more of a pigeon and transport hub than somewhere you'd actually kick back and
There's a ton of pigeons out there, I was about to say.
So don't prioritize it too much. Finally, don't forget about the many, many amazing day trips that you can enjoy from Barcelona. There's options for every preference, whether you want mountains, seaside, or more cities. For mountain lovers, a visit to dreamy Montserrat is a must, with striking mountains, verdant greenery, and
ones that
an
look like
epic monastery
faces
wedged between its peaks. Meanwhile, beach lovers should definitely enjoy some gems along the idyllic Costa Brava, with beautiful beach towns like Tossa de Mar located just a short drive north of Barcelona. Finally, if you're into cities, I can highly recommend Girona, home to stony medieval architecture, picturesque riverbanks, and plenty of nerdy photo ops for Game of Thrones fans, given the city's stint as Bravos. I can also recommend Tarragona, which is home to cool Roman ruins, glossy gold beaches,
I would want to see that,
and super fresh seafood, all with a fraction of Barcelona's crowds. Overall, there's no shortage of things to do in and around Barcelona.
Although she did talk about some of the stuff that's very important to a lot of other guides and whatnot, she didn't necessarily mention them because they get mentioned all the time. And that's why I like different perspectives from different people, because not only will they show you different footage, but they'll share their experience with those specific spots, what they liked. So if I were to go over there, I'm sure, some plazas or, might not be as great to me to go through, but then a specific building that I found something cool might show up and I can share that. So everything is just different, and that's why I like different perspectives. So I can't wait to learn more about Barcelona, but that's all I have for this one, and I'll see you in the next one.